She was holding a half-empty seltzer and talking about her dream like it was already real. Some boutique fitness studio with custom lighting, curated playlists, and branded merch. She even dropped the phrase luxury sweat experience, and I remember thinking, okay, damn, she's serious. My name's Ryan. I'm 33. I live just outside of Denver, Colorado, and I'm an HVAC technician. Good at what I do. Make solid money. I've been saving since I was 20. Busted my ass on job sites all year round. No debt, decent credit, and a pretty healthy IRA. She was friends with my buddy's girlfriend. We met at their 4th of July barbecue, burgers, lawn chairs, paper plates. She was all charm and energy. Wore these bright running shoes and kept talking about building a community and elevating the wellness scene. She name-dropped fitness influencers I'd never heard of and told me how all the banks kept turning her down. I asked why. She said they didn't understand the vision, that it was all old guys in suits who didn't get what it meant to create a vibe. We started texting that night. Within a couple weeks, we were dating. She kept talking about the studio, sent me Pinterest boards full of color palettes and mock-up logos. The passion was real, or at least it looked real. I offered to help her clean up her business plan, run the numbers. I was impressed, honestly. She had slides and quotes and even a basic website. Then one night, she just broke. We were at my place and she got a rejection email from some SBA lender. She threw her phone, sat on my kitchen floor, and cried like the whole dream was over. Told me no one believed in her. Not her parents, not her old boss, not even her ex who laughed at her pitch deck. I'm not made of stone. I told her maybe it wasn't over. Maybe she just needed someone to back her the right way. She looked up at me, eyes red, and said, "Why would you do that for me?" Because I could. That's what I told her. I cashed out my IRA, took the tax hit, walked away with around 120 grand. My cousin's a business attorney in Boulder. He set up the LLC. We wrote it all out. I'm 70% owner. She's 30. Everything legal. Everything signed. She kissed me like I just saved her life. Called me her hero. Said I saw something in her that no one else did. The lease got signed 3 days later. It was a corner unit in a trendy part of downtown. Exposed brick, skylights, already had plumbing and soundproofing from the last yoga place that folded. Rent was $4 grand a month, but she swore it was worth it for the location and foot traffic. We put it under the LLC. My cousin double-checked everything. Paperwork solid. I was majority owner, tied to every legal line. She took the lead on design and marketing, said that was her wheelhouse. I handled the boring stuff: permits, contracts, insurance, inspections. First big bill? Rubber flooring. $6 grand. Then came custom mirrors, LED lighting, and some audio setup she found on Instagram. I watched my retirement drip away, invoice by invoice. Every week, another 1,000 here, 3,000 there. It added up fast. "You sure we need all this?" I asked one night, going through the latest charges. She barely looked up from her laptop. "It's about brand identity, babe. This isn't just a gym. It's an experience." That line started popping up a lot. It's an experience. Like that explained everything. One day she mentioned a branding consultant she was working with. I'd never heard of this person. She said he was helping with the launch strategy, colors, taglines, all that. I asked if we had a contract or invoice for him. She waved it off. "He's freelance. I'll send the receipts later." Later never came. I followed up a few times. Texted her, emailed her. "Hey, just need those consultant receipts for the files." She'd text back hours later, "OMG, I forgot. We'll send tonight." She didn't. A couple weeks in, I started going down to the space more often, checking things myself. One time, I walked in and found her giving a tour to some influencer-type girl with a ring light and a camera crew. Another time, she had music blasting while 2 dudes rolled in giant crates labeled supplements. "What's this?" I asked, pointing to one. She shouted over the music, "Sample inventory for the smoothie bar." That was the first I'd heard of any smoothie bar. I pulled her aside after. "When did we agree on selling supplements?" She laughed. "Don't stress. It's just promo stuff. The guy's doing us a favor. You'll see. It'll be great for brand synergy. That phrase, brand synergy, I wanted to put my head through the drywall. Still, I let it slide. Told myself she was just overwhelmed. She had a million tabs open in her brain and probably forgot to loop me in. I'd never built a business from scratch before. Maybe this was normal. Maybe this chaos was part of the process. She stayed busy. Photo shoots, social posts, ordering plants and neon signs and glass water bottles with our logo. Meanwhile, I was the one on the phone with city permits, chasing down the fire inspection, writing the checks. One night, I stayed late after one of the inspections ran long. She'd already left. I walked into the back room to turn off the lights and found a pile of unopened boxes. Each one had the same return label, a supplement company I'd never heard of. The packing slips were inside. Pricey stuff. Pre-workout tubs, branded protein, collagen mixes. No mention of promo or donation. These were real invoices. Called her. No answer. She texted me the next morning like nothing happened. Thanks for locking up last night. You're the best flexed biceps. I didn't respond. The feeling in my gut wasn't just off anymore. It was sour. But I didn't say anything. I kept showing up, kept signing checks. I told myself the same lie every dumbass tells himself before the crash. If I pull the plug now, everything we spent is wasted. Grand opening day, I showed up early with a box of donuts and a fresh shave. Wore the nicest shirt I owned. Buttoned down, ironed, tucked in. This was supposed to be the big payoff. Months of stress, money, and watching my future drain into paint colors and overpriced signage. All leading to this. I walked in and saw lights on, music thumping, smoothies getting lined up at the welcome table. It looked good, I'll give her that. People were already snapping selfies at the neon wall she had installed. Sweat, slay, repeat. Or something dumb like that. Then he showed up. Slick dude, maybe 25, full sleeve tattoos, tank top like it was still summer, even though it was 50 degrees outside. Walked in like he owned the place, giving out high fives and calling everyone champ. I watched him fist bump a DJ we'd never hired. I asked one of the front desk girls, "Who's that?" She smiled. "That's the co-director. Didn't you know?" No, I did not. She finally spotted me and rushed over like everything was fine. "Oh, I was just about to introduce you too." She grabbed his arm like they'd been glued together for years. "Ryan, this is Kyle. He's the co-director of programming. He's the heart of the studio vibe." I blinked. "Since when do we have a co-director?" She gave this little shrug like it was cute. "Come on, don't get all corporate. Titles don't matter here. It's a team effort." I just nodded, jaw tight. I didn't want to blow things up in front of clients. Throughout the event, they were glued together, whispering behind the smoothie table, giggling next to the speakers, him resting his hand on the small of her back like it was his studio. I caught them once near the lockers, laughing at something, her arm wrapped around his waist. Didn't sit right. None of it. I kept telling myself, be cool. Be smart. This is public. Handle it clean. So I stuck to the sidelines, handing out drinks, thanking guests, trying not to rip a chair out of the wall every time I saw them whispering like teenagers. Then I went to the back hallway near the storage room. Just wanted a second to breathe. And there they were. He had her pinned up against the wall, hand on her hip, her face tilted up. Full-on kissing. Not even subtle. My stomach dropped. Something inside me snapped so clean it was almost quiet. I turned around, walked outside, and texted my cousin. Me, bring the papers. He replied 2 minutes later, on my way. He'd drafted them weeks ago, just in case. At the time, I thought it was overkill. Now I was glad he knew better. He showed up about 30 minutes into the event, folder in hand, no smile. I met him at the corner, signed what I had to, tucked the pages into my jacket. I waited until the fake champagne popped and she got on the mic, standing under the logo I'd paid to install. She thanked everyone for coming, talked about how this was just the beginning of something huge, something revolutionary. I stepped forward. "Hey, can I say something real quick?" She looked at me, surprised but smiling. "Of course, babe." I pulled the papers from my jacket and raised my voice just enough for the room to hush. I'm dissolving the business. Effective immediately. Financial misuse and breach of contract. That's all. The room froze. Some girl in leggings dropped her drink. My cousin stepped up beside me, arms crossed. I nodded toward the smoothie table. Thanks for coming. Enjoy the drinks. This place is closed. Then I walked out. Didn't wait for her reaction. Didn't look back. Last I saw, she was still standing there, mouth open, mic in one hand, boyfriend nowhere in sight. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I already had the locksmith on the line. Tonight, I told him. Doesn't matter how late. I'll pay extra. He came out around 9. Changed both doors, gave me a fresh set. The house was mine long before she came along. Paid off in my name, no joint anything. She didn't have a legal foot to stand on. I packed her stuff while he worked. Every drawer, closet, box under the bed. Dumped it all in the garage. Labeled nothing. Didn't care. Just got it out. Her clothes, makeup, books, yoga mats, half-used shampoo bottles. Tossed it all into plastic bins like clearing a damn storage unit. Around 11:30, the headlights hit my front window. I knew that was her before she even got out. She came stomping up the walk, screaming before she reached the door. You seriously locked me out? Are you insane? I didn't open it. She started pounding both fists, shaking the handle. You can't do this. You just ruined my entire life. I cracked the door, didn't unlatch it. Your stuff's in the garage. You have until noon tomorrow to pick it up. Are you kidding me right now? Her voice hit that shrill pitch I knew too well. You ambushed me in front of clients. You embarrassed me in front of investors. Lease is under the LLC. I'm 70% owner. You want to fight math? Be my guest. That shut her up for a second. Then came the threats. I'm going to sue your ass, she snapped. You had no right. I smiled. Do it. I've got every agreement, every signed doc, every receipt. And my cousin's already drafting the response. She screamed something I didn't catch and kicked the bottom of the door. I closed it in her face. She stayed out there for a while, yelling into the air, crying loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Eventually she peeled out of the driveway, tires squealing like a teenager. I texted my cousin. Come over. Bring your laptop. He was there in 30. We sat at my dining table with folders, spreadsheets, logins. Pulled everything we had access to. Studio accounts, vendor invoices, bank records. What we found made my stomach turn. 10 grand in consulting fees paid out to the tattooed clown I caught kissing her. The line item read like he was offering actual programming services. Meanwhile, the only thing he programmed was her weekend schedule. Then we dug into the supplement orders. Every invoice was inflated, marked up by double, sometimes triple. The supplier? Registered under some buddy of his in Arizona. We traced nearly $20,000 of payments straight to that vendor. She wasn't building a business. She was funneling money to her boyfriend and his crew. I sat back, staring at the numbers. This wasn't just a screw-up, I said. She planned this. My cousin didn't even look surprised. That's why I told you to get the papers ready a month ago. He started printing everything, building a file. Labeled each doc, every transfer, every email thread. Told me we'd be ready the second she tried to make this a legal thing. Around 2 in the morning, I stepped out to the garage. Still quiet, her stuff untouched. Not even a text. I grabbed a beer, leaned against the wall, and stared at the boxes. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was how easily she lied. How deep it went. She didn't just cheat on me. She built an entire fake brand around it. By Monday afternoon, the letter showed up. Certified envelope, thick packet inside. She'd hired one of those mall-tier law firms that advertise on billboards and bus stops. The kind of guy who probably made most of his money on slip-and-fall cases. The letter was a joke. Said I'd illegally seized her intellectual property and inflicted emotional and financial damage through abrupt dissolution. Then they demanded I hand over the entire studio and pay her $100,000 for emotional distress and loss of future earnings. I read it 3 times just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Then I slid it across the table to my cousin. He flipped through it stone-faced. "All right," he said, pulling his laptop over. "Time to return fire." He drafted the response that night, point-by-point breakdown of her contract violations. He attached every payment she made to her boyfriend under false pretenses. Every overbilled invoice. Copies of our signed agreement showing I had full legal control to dissolve the LLC. Everything backed up. 3 days later, we got a one-line email back from her lawyer. Reviewing client's documentation. Translation: "Oh crap. We didn't hear anything for almost a week." Then he came back begging. Not officially, of course. Just a toned-down letter asking if we'd consider a settlement of 40 grand so both parties could move forward. I didn't even hesitate. "Send the fraud docs." My cousin nodded. Fired back everything. Itemized lists of the boyfriend's payouts, the shell company, the marked-up supplement invoices. Even screen grabs of her text saying she was so glad Kyle is finally on the payroll. The next morning, her lawyer officially withdrew from the case. Didn't even try to fight it. After that, she started scrambling. First thing she did was try to charm the landlord into giving her the lease directly. Said she wanted to save the business and cut out the negativity. Landlord called me. "Is this your business partner trying to transfer the lease?" "Not anymore," I said. "She's out. Everything was under the LLC. She's not on the docs." "She didn't qualify anyway," he said. "Terrible credit, no income." "Yeah," I said. "Sounds about right." 2 days later, I was out on a service call, working on a rooftop unit in Aurora. I climbed down the ladder, and there she was, standing next to my truck like a scene out of some low-budget drama. Her face was puffy, makeup smeared like she'd been crying or didn't care. As soon as I hit the pavement, she started yelling. "You think this is over?" she snapped. "You ruined everything." I kept walking past her like she wasn't there. Reached for the truck door. She followed me around to the driver's side, waving her arms. "You want to pretend like I don't exist? Like I didn't build that studio from nothing?" I opened the door and got in. She slapped the side mirror hard enough to jolt it sideways. "You're a coward, Ryan." That's when the office manager came out and called security. They were quick, 2 guys in blue polos radioed in. She tried to stand her ground, but they gave her one warning, then walked her off the property. I sat in the truck, engine idling, watching through the windshield as she screamed at the sky like a damn soap opera villain. She'd burned every bridge she had, and now she was circling back to mine. Too late. The next morning, I started the teardown. Didn't wait for her to calm down or try another stunt. I was done giving her time. I called a commercial resale company that handles gym closures. Sent them photos, inventory lists, purchase invoices. By the next day, they had a crew lined up. Spin bikes, dumbbells, resistance bands, rubber mats, LED wall lights, smoothie bar equipment, Bluetooth speakers. Everything she picked, everything I paid for, gone within 3 days. No drama, just forklifts, clipboards, and guys who moved fast. They cut me a check for just under 35 grand. After costs, I owed her 30% per the LLC agreement. That came out to a little over 10,000. I mailed the check with tracking and took a photo of the envelope. That was the last legal obligation I had to her. 2 days later, she called me. Not from her number. I guess I'd finally blocked enough of those, but from some friend's phone. The second I answered, she started screaming. "You're stealing my studio," she shrieked. "You had no right to sell my equipment." I kept my voice flat. "It wasn't your equipment. It was LLC property. Paid for with my money. You got your cut. You owe me more than that," she snapped. "No," I said. "I don't." She tried to keep going, but I hung up. Didn't answer when she called back. I should have known that wouldn't be the end of it. The resale company was scheduled to do final pickup that weekend. Saturday morning, around 6, I got a text from the landlord. "FYI, someone tried breaking into the studio last night. Police were called. Cameras caught it all." I called him. "Was it her?" I asked. He sighed. "Yep, same girl. Tried to come in through the back. Set off the motion sensor. She'd brought bolt cutters, apparently. tried to pop the back gate and wedged the door open with a car jack. The camera caught her face clear as day. Cops came, cited her on the spot for attempted break-in. She tried to say I had locked her out illegally and was stealing her business. Landlord didn't even let her finish. I made the call, he told the cops. She doesn't have a lease, doesn't have keys, doesn't have a claim. He forwarded me the footage. I watched it on my phone. There she was, hoodie pulled over her head, flashlight in her mouth, yanking on the handle like a raccoon going through trash. It was pathetic. And no, I didn't press charges. I didn't need to. The citation stuck. She had to leave the property and wasn't allowed back without legal clearance, which she didn't have and never would. Actions have consequences. And for once, she didn't get to wriggle out of them. Barely a month after the liquidation, I started hearing rumors. One of the vendors from the old studio sent me a message on LinkedIn. Hey, just FYI, your former business partner's trying to open something new. She's using your old branding. I didn't respond, but I kept watching. She and the tattooed clown, Kyle or whatever name he was using this week, had rented out a small warehouse in an industrial park about 20 minutes away. She slapped together a cheap logo, posted photos of empty mats on concrete floors, and called it a relaunch. Same neon slogans, same hashtags, same gear style. She even reused the playlist. They reached out to the same vendors we'd used: mats, mirrors, lighting, protein powders. And somehow, a few of them actually extended credit. Probably figured if they worked with us once, it was legit. It wasn't. I drove by the warehouse one evening just to see it for myself. Roll-up door half open, cheap vinyl banner flapping in the wind. 2 cars parked out front. Place looked like a pop-up CrossFit knockoff. 6 weeks later, it was already falling apart. The smoothie cooler broke. The sound system never worked right. They didn't get enough foot traffic, no real marketing. Instagram looked like a ghost town. One post had 11 likes. 6 of them were her burner accounts. Then the lawsuits started. 3 vendors filed claims for unpaid invoices. Total damage? Over 30 grand. I got wind of it from one of the process servers who recognized my name on old business docs. She stiffed them, he said. Signed credit terms and never paid a dime. We're having trouble even tracking her down. I wasn't surprised. She changed phone numbers like outfits. Still, she somehow found my number again. Called from a burner, didn't block it this time. I picked up without thinking, then immediately regretted it. Ryan, she said, soft like nothing happened. Can we just talk like adults for a second? I didn't say anything. She kept going. Look, I know things got out of hand, but this is different. I just need you to let me keep the brand. The name, the logo, that's all. You're not even using it. I laughed. You mean the brand I created, legally owned and funded alone? You know I built the community, she snapped. People followed me for my vision. Yeah? How's that working out? Silence. I let it hang. Then I told her flat out, the name, the logo, the website, all of it belonged to the LLC, which I dissolved. There is no brand left to give you. You're being petty. No, I said. I'm being done. Then I hung up. That same night, I logged into the website domain account. It was still in my name. Same with the Instagram, the Facebook page, and the email newsletter platform. I kept them all frozen just in case she tried something stupid. She did. So I deleted everything. Domain, canceled. Socials, wiped. Email list, nuked. Every digital trace of the studio, gone in under an hour. Next day, she tried launching new pages with similar names. Didn't go far. No followers, no credibility, no equipment. You can't build a brand on nothing, especially when the truth is still out there and 3 lawsuits are breathing down your neck. She wanted the image of success without putting in the real work. That was always her thing. Chasing clout, not clients. And now the show was over. A week after I wiped the digital footprint, I got a notice from the county court. She'd hired another lawyer. Slightly more expensive, slightly more desperate, and filed a claim saying I'd illegally dissolved the LLC without consent. I forwarded it to my cousin. He called me within 5 minutes, laughing. She's seriously trying this now? Yep, I said. Last swing before rock bottom, I guess. He pulled the original LLC agreement from his files. Signed by both of us, plain as day. Clause 18. Majority owner holds full authority to dissolve the entity at any time, with or without partner consent. He submitted it with a motion to dismiss. We showed up in court, barely said a word. The judge read the documents, looked over her filing, and tossed it out in under 3 minutes. Didn't even ask us a question. Just said, "It's all here in writing. Case dismissed." That was it. Her last legal shot, dead on arrival. Meanwhile, the vendor lawsuits rolled forward. All 3 vendors who gave her credit during the warehouse reboot filed suits. 2 for gear, 1 for supplements. She never responded to any of them. Didn't show up for court. No lawyer. No excuse. Default judgments, all 3. Total owed, 30 grand, plus interest. I saw the case summaries online. She didn't even bother opening her mail. Last I heard, she was back working retail, folding clothes at some chain store in a strip mall. No car, no apartment. She'd moved back in with her mom out in Lakewood. Her Instagram was locked. The fake studio accounts were deleted. The influencer posts stopped. No new burner numbers for a while. Then, out of nowhere, she left me a voicemail. Another random number. Local area code. Voice soft and fake sweet again. Like nothing ever happened. "Hey Ryan, I know you probably won't answer, but I need help. Everything's kinda gone off the rails. I don't know who else to call." I hit delete before she finished the next sentence. That chapter was closed. And as far as her new boyfriend, gone. He ghosted her the second the lawsuits hit. Word is he ran the same play on 2 other women. Fake businesses, fake consulting gigs, all flash, no substance. One of them posted about it online. Said he emptied her savings and vanished overnight. Should have seen it coming. I did. But she didn't want a partner. She wanted a shortcut. And that's what she got. Straight to the bottom. After all of it, I finally sat down and did the math. Total loss? Around 120 grand. That was every cent I pulled from my IRA, plus the cash I'd stacked in savings for over a decade. Between legal fees, vendor payments, rent, and all the garbage she charged to the LLC. Gone. Burned through in under a year. If I'd left that money right where it was, savings, stocks, retirement accounts, 30 years from now it'd be worth triple. Maybe more if the market stayed decent. That part hit hard. Not just the money, but the years it took to build it. But then I thought about what could have happened if I hadn't pulled the trigger when I did. If we'd gotten married, she would have had access to everything. No prenup, no LLC protection, just open season on my bank account. And she would have cleaned me out. Hell, she planned to. I saw the texts myself. Messages to her friends saying I was so easy to manage and probably good for a house in a year. She knew exactly what she was doing. It wasn't just bad judgment. It was calculated. I kept those screenshots, just in case she ever tried to spin the story. Now I'm back to rebuilding. Picked up extra shifts. Commercial HVAC is always in demand. Did a few big installs this summer that padded things up. Cut out all unnecessary spending. No vacations, no extras, just slow and steady. It's not exciting, but it's solid. I've dated a little here and there, but nothing serious. I'm not in a rush. Don't need the drama, don't want the noise. I've gotten really good at spotting red flags, not just the obvious ones, but the subtle stuff too. Overpromising. Avoiding details. Always looking for the next angle. No thanks. My cousin told me the other day, "You got out just in time." He's right. Yeah, the money's gone. But the peace I've got now, that's something I forgot even existed. No yelling. No drama. No phone blowing up with fake emergencies. Just quiet. Predictable days. Clean bank statements. Sometimes I wake up and think, damn, I actually slept through the night. That used to be rare. I used to think walking away meant losing. Now I know better. Right before I shut it all down for good, I did one last thing. I logged back into the studio's Instagram, the original account. Still had a few thousand followers from when we first launched. The grid was full of old content. Fake promo videos, smoothie pics, workout quotes she never lived by. I cleared my throat, cracked my knuckles, and typed a final message. Effective immediately. Studio name is permanently closed due to internal misuse of funds by a minority partner. This business is no longer active. If you see any other account using the same name, logo, or branding, it is not affiliated, licensed, or authorized. Thank you to those who supported us. I hit post. Let it sit for 20 minutes, just long enough for the notifications to start rolling in. Then I deleted the entire account. Facebook? Gone. Twitter? Wiped. Newsletter platform? Shut down. Logo files? Permanently removed from the cloud. No soft goodbye. No drama. Just closure. She tried starting new pages a few days later, but it didn't go anywhere. You can't rebuild something that was fake to begin with, not without the gear, the money, or the followers. I didn't even have to say anything. It died on its own. Now, I'm debt-free. No legal ties, no shared assets, no social media anchors dragging me back. Just my own name, my own paycheck, and my own future. Started working with a financial coach, someone who actually knows what they're doing. We're building a long-term plan. Real investments. Smart savings. No more throwing money at people with vibes and Pinterest boards. I sleep better now. No alarms going off in my head at 3 in the morning. No wondering where the money went, who she's texting, or what new stunt she's pulling behind my back. The experience was hell. I won't lie about that, but I learned everything I needed to. I used to think that love meant showing up no matter what, proving you believe in someone even when no one else does. But real love doesn't ask you to sacrifice your future to prove it, especially not for someone who would never do the same for you. I'll be fine. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, but I'll be fine.